Thanks, Amelia. That's right, I'm down here at Adelaide Zoo with giant pandas Wang Wang and Funi, who just over a week ago were the subject of major discussions between Australia's Prime Minister and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, that's a pretty big deal because... Oh, they weren't talking about pandas? Then what am I doing here?
Yeah, believe it or not, there were more important things than pandas on the agenda for Anthony Albanese and President Xi Jinping. Yeah, sorry Wang Wang and Funi, we'll come back to you later.
Oh, will you wake up? This is important.
But first, let's find out why this trip was such a big deal. For a long time, Australia and China have been, well, different. We have different histories, different cultures, and different politics. But about 50 years ago, our governments decided it would be a good idea to partner up. Because not only were we quite close to each other, but it would also be good for our economies and our security. Today, China is Australia's most important trading partner. They buy almost 1/3 of all the goods we send out of Australia. And the relationship's important for China too, which uses a lot of our resources like iron ore, coal, and liquefied natural gas. But over time, things between Australia and China have become a bit rocky. As we mentioned earlier, China has a pretty different political system. And over the past few decades, Australian politicians have been openly critical of some things, like China's treatment of minority groups and its policies in Hong Kong and Taiwan. There's also been some tension over the South China Sea, an area of ocean that China says it owns, even though international law and some of China's neighbours say that's not true. Our government has also been a little bit suspicious of Chinese companies in Australia and their impact on national security. And in early 2020, our government called for an independent investigation into the origin of COVID-19 and how China handled it.
Where else did it start if it wasn't in Wuhan?
China wasn't happy, and their government decided to put some hefty taxes on exports of our goods to their country, including things like barley, wine, and lobster. Chinese authorities said it was because Australia was breaking trade rules by selling things too cheaply, a claim the Australian government denied. So, yeah, you could say things have been a bit awkward. In fact, no Prime Minister has held formal talks with Xi Jinping since 2016, until now.
This was a point where the relationship moved forward.
Mr. Albanese says talks went pretty well trade-wise, although some say issues like human rights should have been higher on the priority list.
Now, this is a real test for Anthony Albanese. He needs to demonstrate strength and substance ahead of ceremony or symbolism.
Not so black and white, is it, Wang Wang? Hey, wait a second, what has this got to do with pandas?
Well, in the lead up to the visit, there was some talk about these guys. See, Wang Wang and Funi here are actually rented from China, in a deal that's due to expire next year, so some were hoping this visit could wangle them some more time in SA. And while there was no guarantee they'll get to stick around, apparently pandas were briefly discussed.
He reminded us of the fact that not all pandas are cute by relaying the Kung Fu Panda story as well.
For now, the Prime Minister has invited President Xi Jinping to visit us down under. And while China and Australia acknowledge they don't agree on everything, the hopes are that staying on good terms will mean good things for both countries.
And for these pandas. Josh Langman, BTN.